Hi, it's Denise from Realize Your Art Garden Studio. So today we're going to do a middle of a March garden tour, and this is a garden tour of the hoop house and of the raised garden beds. So for those of you that haven't followed me in the past, I am in a Zone 5, Northern Illinois, and over the winter, this last winter, I did protected gardening within a hoop house that you can see behind me, and also a greenhouse. And what I did is I did an experiment to see what I could grow throughout the winter season, which was very cold, and also to see what kind of start I could get on some of my spring crops. And I will tell you, it's been very successful. So over the last 2 to 3 weeks, I've been transplanting, moving things around from the hoop house and the greenhouse and getting them into the raised garden beds. And let me give you a tour of where we are and show you what's going on with that. So let's go. So here we are in the hoop house. Right now, even though that it's pretty cloudy out, it's still quite warm in the hoop house. You can see down there on the thermometer where we're sitting at, quite high into the 80s and 90s that it gets. Pretty soon I will be taking off the 6mm plastic off of this and converting it into an arch that I will have my climbing vegetables grow up and over for the season. But let's take a look at where we are with some of our vegetables here. So for those of you that have seen these before, this is my garlic patch that was started back in October, and I will say it's been very successful. You will note I have one lone onion, which is almost ready for harvest. Also in here, I've started my tomatoes and many other plants. I did a start of artichokes. I've already transplanted those out to the garden. A lot of great herbs, dill, basil, parsley, thyme, some more basil I have going. Back here, this was an experiment to see how early I could actually get my cantaloupe, watermelon, cucumber started. I will say, not the best success. I think they just really need the heat. I would have been better off keeping them and starting them in the greenhouse, but that's okay, live and learn. What I will be doing, as I mentioned earlier, I'll be converting this bed over here all to my climbing vegetables, and there will be a wire hoop that goes up and over the hoop house so that all the plants can essentially climb and hang with the fruit and vegetables hanging down for easy picking. So we'll see. We're going to be doing that over the next week. In the center, this was actually the start of some bush beans. A lot of my flowers I started that are already out in my landscape I started in here. I still have some cosmos and sweet peas that are sitting in there. Over here I've done some start of some sunflowers as an experiment. This whole bed was full of dahlias. They're now all put out into the landscape. Literally the dahlias were about 2 to 3 feet high, doing very, very well in there. That is something I would definitely do again. Here was what I thought was just going to be a quick start of my tomatoes and sweet peas, and I will tell you the tomatoes and sugar snap peas have absolutely loved the hoop house. So as I mentioned before, I'm getting ready to make the virtual hoop and get those sugar snap peas up and over so they can start growing and getting some full sun and doing well. With this, there's some carrots in here, a good eggplant. I actually just harvested some turnips back here that did well. These are all zucchini. I'll be transplanting them to the side so that they'll be going up and over the hoop house. Now let's take a walk outside and see where we are with the raised garden beds. For those of you who saw me build the raised garden beds, they've been quite successful. Over the winter, I did a cover crop of alfalfa to put a little bit more nitrogen. I also added land and sea compost, Espoma land and sea compost to prep the dirt, and used some plant tone before I was replanting or transplanting. So what I have so far, again, not very exciting. These are just seeds. I've started some my secondary crop of red and green lettuce. I have corn. I have here my spinach that has been started from seed. I have a line of radish, a line of turnips, and then also a line of beets that I just planted today. Over here, these are the tomatoes that started in the hoop house from seed and have done remarkably well. It is, let's see, what do I have in there? I do have some early girls, some beefsteak, various cherry tomatoes, all of the marigolds. I started from seed and used them as my plant protectant against all the evil chipmunks and my pesky little bugs. Most of you have seen my lettuce patch, and it continues to grow. I continue to harvest. It is the Salanova variety that I got from Johnny Seeds, and I will say double thumbs up. It's a pelleted version, and it doesn't cease to amaze me of how well it grows and how consistent. So very successful on that. Let's look at some of the other things that we have back here and growing. Over here are all of my Yukon Gold potatoes that have a nice start. I need to do a little bit of mounding underneath it just to ensure I get a good potato crop. Still have a little bit of alfalfa that comes up here and there. Then I have my Chinese or Napa Valley cabbage. Napa cabbage. I have some ornamental kale that I've just put in to keep my garden pretty. Some very tiny pepper plants, some eggplant, and then again some more Napa cabbage that I moved over here. And then over here, these are some Brussels sprouts that were started actually out here because of being a cold crop. I experimented, put those in about a month ago, which is very early for a zone 5, but they've done well. In addition, this is the garlic that was started in fall and was just covered with mulch. So you can see the difference in size between this garlic and the garlic that's inside the hoop house. I'm assuming it might have, the hoop house garlic will probably have a good, maybe I'll be able to harvest June, and then this will probably be end of July is my guess. Here's my crop of both yellow and red onions. Some came up through the winter, some were brought in, transplanted from the hoop house, and then these I just planted about 3 weeks ago. So all are doing pretty well. So as I said, it's been quite the busy spring, quite the busy fall to keep everything going, but I look forward to showing you more as we go on. I'll be able to show you what's going on in the greenhouse right now, and I'll show you what I've done with the landscape and keep you up to date with some of the projects that I'm working on, especially some of the really fun ones, such as the lavender that I've put together, a whole hedge of lavender from all that I propagated over the winter. So I'll share all that information with you very, very soon. All right, that's it for now. You have a great day and enjoy your gardening.